Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's me and Big Mick Energy to talk about last
Evening,
night's
evening.
Royal Rumble. How's it going, Mick? How are you doing?
How we doing, mate? I'm very well, mate. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm also quite good. Because last night's Royal Rumble was quite good, and we both got steel chairs in the background, so
We have.
the discussion gets a bit too raucous.
I was thinking if it gets a bit too boring, we could spice it up a bit.
Yeah, it won't be for very long. But yeah, man. So yeah, I was up last night watching live. But what, you watched it today like a sensible person?
Watched part of it live last night, like on and off in the background, but not with much volume. And then yeah, kind of caught up with it today, this afternoon and stuff.
It's
But yeah,
definitely
pretty. I was quite impressed with it considering I've not watched a lot of W pay-per-views for a long fucking time, or PLEs as they're called now. PLEs.
premium live events. Yeah. It's not just call them pay-per-views or shows. That's one syllable. Done. But
I mean,
yeah,
I kind of thought we'd just begging with the PLE plea, please come and watch.
oh, Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, I've been keeping up with the pay-per-views, but not watching week to week. Apart from the Bloodline story, which has just been
Yeah,
absolutely
that has
excellent.
been excellent. I've kept up with that, to be fair, all the way. That's kept me interested a bit.
Yeah, what's going on, Ginger Patman? Thanks for watching, everybody. It is a wrestling podcast today, and we're talking about the Royal Rumble 2023. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this just before we went live, but I used to be able to do these late night pay-per-views, no problems, but I was struggling at points last night, particularly during the Women's Rumble, which was pretty uninteresting until the end. And, just like the new Batman film, watch it when you're not knackered, preferably in two parts, and you're going to have a good time. But yeah, it was like 4.5 hours or something like that. Not including the pre-show, which I had on in the background, just in case there's a match bump to the pre-show. But when there isn't, there's nothing on there. And they've got to do, if you're going to keep doing the pre-shows, make them a little bit entertaining, right?
The pre-shot, yeah, they are just like repeats of the same videos you see all week on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else, and with a little bit of commentary in between from people sitting at a desk. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're watching the show, you're going to see those promo packages before each match.
Again,
And Caleb Braxton's great, but don't need to hear King. His jokes are so old now. It's man.
it's because he's so old now.
But his jokes are about 100 years before his time. It's ridiculous. And Booker T is obviously just spouting nonsense as always, wondering where his invitation was for the Rumble. We'll see about that later on. But Kevin Patrick, they're all just saying just kind of nothing for an hour. And I know for none of the wrestlers, they want to be on that pre-show, but I think maybe the Bianca Belair match could have gone on the pre-show.
Yeah,
Shorten that show
possibly.
up a bit. Maybe even no, you can't. You've got to have the pitch black match on the main show though, because that's like a marquee match, isn't it, Mick? Your match of the night, I presume. I don't want to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
You're a man of good taste, but yeah, there were some real highlights, and we're going to go through that show with you now. But feel free to chat about anything you like in the chat, and we'll chat along with you. This streaming thing's easy, Mick. I don't know what we were complaining about just before we went live. But yeah, Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. A record-breaking 52,000 gate. But I think that's the WWE exaggerated numbers. But
Always.
a record-breaking for the Rumble, regardless. So that's pretty good going. Do you think people were expecting to see The Rock tonight?
I wasn't. I think if you were going to see The Rock, you would have heard more about it because it's the fucking Rock, isn't it? They're not going to not hype Dwayne coming back. There's gonna be something there. I mean, they've been hinting at it for long enough, and it will happen eventually. It's obvious, but yeah, I didn't expect it, to be honest.
T's definitely not shying away from talking about it on the Tonight Show, rather than like, okay, we can't talk about it because Rock's definitely not going to be at Mania. But with the
Yeah, I think
ending, go ahead, mate.
Sorry, what sold it for me that he definitely wasn't there was Cody inevitably winning it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was always going. And when we talk about it, I'll tell you something really funny that happened at the end of the Rumble as well for me personally.
Nice.
But yeah, like because it was a given Cody was going to win. It was like, well, how does The Rock fit into this?
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't expecting him at all, really. But people think it's going to happen at all the big pay-per-views because of Roman, aren't they?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for for like many years now. Actually,
Survivor Series,
now that you
Mania,
mention
all
it.
the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I thought they definitely weren't doing the Rock stuff because they suddenly switched from that family of the bloodline acknowledgement ceremony to the trial of Sami Zayn. I'm like, okay, the whole storyline's been really good. That feels a bit rushed. Is it because it's going to be Roman Sami at WrestleMania?
Which I would have loved.
Is that going to happen? I mean, you know, especially after tonight,
Maybe.
could happen. And there were a few boos for Cody, and the reaction for Cody wasn't as big as it might have been if all the Sami stuff hadn't been going on while he's been away. So, I don't know, man. I just don't know. But now that Cody's won, it's pretty much guaranteed that he's getting that title shot, because there's no other title to win a shot for at the Elimination Chamber, is there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, brought to us by Applebee's. Mick, have you ever had Applebee's?
Never had an Applebee's. I did enjoy 7-Eleven when I went to America, though. That was a highlight of my visit.
Well, you can get a bucket of fizzy drink from a 7-Eleven that will genuinely last you all day. So it's just good value, good value for money. It's good common sense. But yeah, Applebee's, I got to say, especially for America, not great. Not great. If you're at an airport, yeah, but otherwise, you know, stay far away. And you're not going to have. No, do you know what? Becky and Seth in that Applebee's advert, they didn't look like they were having a good time either. They looked really annoying to have dinner with. I was like, my God.
It looked like he was sitting in an old Pizza Hut 90s advert.
Yeah.
That's what it came across to me.
That's
It was so
it.
90s.
That's what they're going for. That's what the Applebee's marketing manager said. We're basically going for an old Pizza Hut vibe, and the people are going to come running. It's going to be Cody Roman, I think, Sammy Owens versus Usos for the tag titles. Pat Man. That's very likely as to where they're heading for sure. But then,
But maybe not, though, because look, with the J thing walking away, is it going to be?
it was so
There's
great.
layers to it, isn't there? Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this. Like,
I've got to say, man, the end of the show was amazing, and we'll get there in a short while. But Cody Roman would be great, but after all of this, Sammy Roman, like the ultimate underdog, and if he did get it, but I don't think the heads of WWE they would maybe put the title on Sammy for a bit, but I don't think they want him breaking Roman's like 10,000 day title reign.
I think like he could cash in on the popularity of it right now and give Sammy the title. Definitely, why not? But you're right, they wouldn't let him keep it for very long, probably.
It's all about it's because it's all about the long title run that he's having as well. I mean, he could lose it and get it back, but then you lose that. Like I said, I think it's coming up to 1,000 days, which is good for him. Large entranceway, really long entrance ramp. Some of them were getting in the ring about a minute and a half after their music, and teeny weeny little staging area.
I love a long entrance ramp, though. I do. You're like Nikki Cross running down. You could see her just going full pelt, and she got about 50 foot away from the ring, and she's like, yeah. She started to go. She got into the ring. She's like, big breath now, big breath.
No one touch me. I need my asthma pump, and that's fine. I've got mine right here always. But yeah, and you're just praying that no one takes a spill when they're sprinting at that speed. But yeah, and also you can't, because you've either got to walk and it'll take a long time, or you got to sprint like Nikki Cross. But what most people end up doing is jogging, and I don't think you can ever look threatening jogging to the ring. But prove me wrong, wrestlers. But yeah, Pat McAfee kicks off the show, and Michael Cole gives him a Stone Cold Steve Austin in '98 kind of announcement, like McAfee. I'm like, he's all right. The crowd were loving it.
I love him because he's different, and I didn't think like you'd
He's
get a guy
really
like
different.
him saying shit like he would in WWE any more. I thought, nah, they're not gonna have a guy like him for very long, but he's loved and like he's different. I love him. I love him. He's just a breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air is exactly what I was about to say. Definitely different, and when even when you're watching a Raw over the last 10 years and you're paying attention, the commentary just kind of turns into white noise, and I don't really pay attention to what they're saying even when I'm listening to them. And McAfee, because he screams a lot of stuff, and you're like, you sit up and you pay attention. So good for Pat, but he's only getting the white stripes that one time at Mania. He's got his own music now. But we were just talking about that, all the CFO songs. So yeah, there was the Jim Johnston era, and then there was the CFO era of WWE music songs. And they did. I like a lot of the CFO stuff. Very repetitive. If you listen to a 3-minute version. But now there's a new music team involved, and I can't remember their name. And there's no point in remembering their name because they make really, really generic themes, and they're phasing out all the old CFO ones. New music for Asuka tonight that started the same and sounds similar but isn't the same, which goes to show you that they're not even going to keep all the old classic ones for a while. Def Rebel, Pat-Man, that's exactly right. Thank you very much. But Kevin Owens has still got his, and I hope some of them stick around for a while. But yeah, Men's Rumble, Mick. Before we get into the Rumble, I'm hearing people saying it's like one of their favourites. Top 5.
I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good Rumble, yeah.
I definitely liked it. Top 5.
And
definitely
there was not many surprise entrants, and I do love a good surprise entrant. I mean, I did call Booker. I called Booker. I just had a feeling.
And you told him you've got to get into this Rumble right now, and he said, "Okay, I'll do it." Shucky ducky quack quack. Me too. I also noticed the lack of surprises, but in another way, that's a good thing because it's showing you the strength of the current roster, and they got a lot of stars, so that's cool.
Stuff like Gable, I really enjoyed Gable coming out and doing his bit. That was class.
Man, he did a lot of great chain wrestling with Woods, and man, I was such a fan of American Alpha. So every time, even though he's got that shoosh music at the moment, it's always great to see to see Chad. But yeah, Gunter in at 1. Birthday Boy Shamo in at number 2, and seeing a lot of birthday beats of the Bow Run in this Rumble, Mick.
I love both of them. Like Gunther, Walter. Like I've loved him for years. I think he's brilliant, and he's just got better and better and better, hasn't he? Like how he is now. And Sheamus is having like such a good period in his career that I didn't think he'd be capable of getting to this point again, kind of thing. Years ago,
resurgence for sure.
Yeah, he's doing himself proud, like.
Yeah, and it's good to see Walter, aka Gunther, do his stuff in WWE, which kind of like when you see some of these guys on the indies for so long, and you know what the WWE system is, even though Walter's a big guy, you don't necessarily think that he's going to work in the system. But yeah, it's great to see him go almost all the way in the Rumble, and people love seeing Gunther and Sheamus smack the shit out of each other, and fair enough. Fair enough, for sure. And they brawl until Miz, the A-list. For some reason last night, just him being called the A-lister really made me chuckle. It's funny. Bless you, Miz. And he didn't stay in there very long, thank God. Kofi number 4, still jumping around all over the place. How long has he been doing this? It's a long, long time, isn't it? Oh my God, we got a huge raid, Mick. I've got to stop you there. We've got a huge raid from Fieri Squirrel with a party of 28.
Whoa. Thank you very much.
It's absolutely mental. Thank you so much for that raid, Squirrel. Now, I do have my raid sounds completely off for podcasts, but you can see how excited me and Mick are. Like, just hold us back. That's right. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. How you doing? It's good to see you. What's up, Zornath? What's up, Trivial Shoot? That's a great name. That's a great name. But yeah, it's me. I'm Chris, by the way, and doing a podcast with Mick. Chatting about
hello, how are you doing?
Last night's Royal Rumble. So hopefully some of the Raiders are wrestling fans. Because it's mainly video games on this channel, and I imagine the same on yours.
Yeah, very much so.
But when this podcast takes off, this is the Hook the Leg podcast. When it takes off, we'll have our own channel, merch. Just don't even worry about that, man. But yeah, we're talking about the men's Rumble at the moment, and Gargano was next with his sort of evil Cody Rhodes pitched down version of his music with slightly deeper vocals, and he hit
where's Gargano at the minute? What's he doing? Because
I don't know if the main roster WWE crowd care that much about him or Candice, to be honest, because.
No, I don't think so.
Every time Candice has come out since she's been on the main roster, there's sort of crickets in the arena, and I feel bad for her. I don't know why that is, but maybe it kind of felt like she was one of those NXT people that was brought in and they're like, oh, we all know who this is, and some WWE mainstay viewers just don't know who the NXT people are. I'm not watching NXT at the moment. I keep abreast of everything that's going on, but I've not watched NXT 2.0 since maybe the first night that it debuted.
Yeah, I don't want to see 2.0 at all. I see the odd thing pop up. I keep, like you say, keep up what's going on. But yeah, it's poor. Yeah, not good watch.
Sheamus, like I said, Sheamus hitting a lot of birthday beats of the Bowl Run, and Gargano and Shamo eliminate Miz. So like I said, good start of the Rumble. Because Miz is out. Xavier at number 6. I interviewed Xavier and I said, what's going on, Xavier? And he said, it's pronounced Xavier. But no, it isn't. It isn't. It's Xavier.
How many wrestlers have you upset interviewing though?
Most of them. Like, because you want to mix up their day. They're getting a lot of nice questions.
Just be a bit, title holders or like...
It's be a bit difficult sometimes. But then, on the same day, Paige, because she's from Norwich, aka Soraya, she let me do a Knowing Me, Knowing You Alan Partridge intro to the interview. So she's always in my good books for that. Yeah, well, hold on. I'm not saying that indefinitely. You never know what wrestlers are going to do next.
Well, I mean...
Oh, man. Karrion Kross in at number 7, yeah. And then, Mick, I said to you back in the day that Karrion Kross, he never struck me as being that scary because he had kind eyes. But can I replace kind eyes with bland face?
Now he's got kind hair, though, as well.
It especially does not work with the hair. None of it's working. The crowd aren't interested.
No, he looks weird as well. Like, he doesn't... Like, he looks like he's half trying to look like he should. But he just can't be asked because he's like, yeah, I'm just going to chill with my missus every day. You need to go to the gym that much. Fuck it. I'm just going to let my hair grow like a greasy fella in a fucking diner. I'm not asked.
Listen, I shaved my hair for many years and now I'm very much of a make the most of your hair while you got it kind of mentality. But he needs to shave his hair. And I just think he needs to kind of maybe go back to control your narrative, possibly.
Do you think he stands there in the middle with the clippers and all he can see is that fucking red bodysuit thing they put him in and the mask every time he goes to cut it? He goes, nope, can't go there again.
He just
puts it back on the shelf.
He drops it and
just a swim.
He just backs out of the bathroom, sweating. Pac-Man Forever with Karrion the Wayward Son. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I just hate all of them. Karrion Kross, Karrion Camping, even Karrion Columbus, which we went to see for a school trip. Gonna lurk because I have to make sure my kids get to bed and other things. Don't worry, Squirrel. Thank you again for the raid. It's awesome of you.
Take care.
Hope you had a nice weekend. Better than Karrion Kross, anyway. But yeah, he's just bland. He's not connecting. That classic problem of he just doesn't connect with the audience, and the audience don't care about him. And
I think he should be a faction as a bit of muscle.
Yeah,
like that's the best I can see him doing, really.
And we don't know what's happening with Vince being back and what creative control he may or may not take back. But yeah, Triple H definitely doesn't hate factions as much as Vince does. So yeah, get him in a faction immediately. I think that's a great idea. I don't think there are any sort of dominant factions apart from the Judgment Day. The Bloodline.
I didn't really think a lot of the Judgment Day, but last night I kind of changed my mind a little bit about them.
Oh man, if you like the Judgment Day, wait until you see the No Way Out and the Fast Lane. They're some of my favorite. Oh, what about the Great Balls of Fire? Man, they're some of the best. But yeah, I guess there are a couple of factions, and Damage Control, of course, were dominating the Ladies Rumble for a bit. Drew's
they all have the worst faction names, though.
It's not good, is it? And especially as it comes up with... It looks like Catarol on your keyboard. Doesn't look like Control. And yeah, Bailey's kind of been underwhelming lately. I don't know, since she came back. But yeah, Chad Gable in at number 8. And like I said, he did some great mat wrestling with Woods. Drew in at number 9. And one of the stories for the Rumble was the Banger Bros. Working as a unit throughout the whole Rumble, which is what more teams should do in the Rumble rather than Now let's see what we've got against each other and face off and end up getting eliminated. Let's both fall off the top turnbuckle like the Hardys in 2001. That's
See,
what.
I have an issue with tag teams being in the Rumble personally. Yeah, I think if you're just a normal tag team who are wrestling for tag belts all the time and you're not going to be a solo breakout, you shouldn't be in the fucking Rumble. Like,
Well,
just stay away from it because you know you're not going to be there. There's no chance you're doing anything. You just rather give
Mick,
someone else a chance.
you've forgotten about the other solution to this problem. We've got the men's rumble, we've got the women's rumble on the same night. Tag team rumble.
Well, yeah, of course you can do that.
Make
Yeah,
it the
easily.
trifecta. But genuinely, please don't do that because two rumble. What's your opinion on two rumbles on the same show? I know why they have to do it, but it's too much.
I'm a believer the Rumble should be should be the main event every single time.
I noticed because it was up first, but whether the rumble's on first or last, I was knackered after it. You know, it's over an hour and a lot's going on, and the pitch black match was afterwards, so you could relax for a bit and have a giggle. But yeah, it men's rumble on first is where the crowd peaked in the men's rumble and were kind of knackered for ages after it. It was
But you could have gone home after the Rumble and just be like, yeah, good night.
beat the
That was
traffic.
good.
Yeah, watch the rest when you get home from your sofa. Brilliant. But yeah, Drew's launching everyone all over the ring, eliminates Cross, so Mon the Drew exchanges with Gunter. Everyone's loving the interaction between Gunter and the Bang, the brothers of Bang, as McAfee called them. Santos Escobar at number 10 looked a bit nervous. Got in the ring, did a lot of talking,
Yeah, I thought that he fucked up a bit, didn't he? Straight away, he's like,
and
okay.
he did an avalanche phantom driver when the countdown's about to reach 1. Dude, you can't do any big spots when the crowd are doing the countdown. It's all they're interested in is doing the countdown. It doesn't matter what move gets hit. They can't switch from 10, 9, 8, 7 to way. And so it just got no reaction for a pretty huge move. But Dawkins at number 11 and Mick obviously frowned at this point.
Yeah.
I see what you
Hello, fucking Dawkins, mate. Just
with the women's rumble. They needed people to fill it, but you might have a good point with the men's roster because I'm pretty sure they've got enough to keep tag teams out if they wanted to.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. And if they haven't, give a few NXT guys a spot. Bring
Yeah.
the old guy back.
Yeah, exactly. And now we come to the Kofi Kingston spot, and he kind of gets eliminated and flies into a chair at maximum velocity, and then he's just lying in a heap of chair, and Michael Cole's like, one of his foot's on the chair, but that was a botch, and we never saw him again. And I think that's 2 years in a row that they've kind of. It's a shame, isn't it? Because Kofi in a Rumble, you're going to expect that, but they've kind of done it all.
Well, what, 15 years at least, I'd say.
Yeah, unless you put like another breakfast item on the floor that you can stand on that isn't pancakes. I think just lay it to rest now because now you're trying stuff that just isn't working on the night. And then later on we see the cricket advert where they're like, "Oh, Kofi never touches the floor when he's out of the ring." And
Well, still have a tightrope on you next to the ring that he'll just jump onto, walk across like he's walking through the Empire State Building.
Yeah,
Or
or just whip out like a Batman grappling gun and just fire it up to the rafters and swing on out of there. But yeah, it's didn't quite work out for him. Lesnar in at number 12, and Michael Cole's voice suddenly sounded auto-tuned at this point. I don't know if anyone else caught this, but Cole's voice went really weird, and it sounded like T-Pain was introducing Brock Lesnar's entrance music. I was like, good for you, T-Pain. Yeah, exactly. Kofi could step on a crepe or a quiche or a frittata. Yeah, I mean, they've only done pancakes, so instead of trying risky stuff, just go through the all of the food groups. And,
if you had Chucky involved in advertising, just have him land on Chucky's shoulders and run round the ring and drop him back in.
bring back Robocop, you cowards. Oh, Robocop would make the best surprise Rumble entry because he's canon in wrestling. He's canon.
Yeah.
But Lesnar's here. Crowd are making a lot of noise for Lesnar, and he's taking the banger. He's taking the bangers to Suplex City. He eliminates Escobar like a sack of shit. Same to Gable. The crowd are just going nuts. Nasty suplex landing for Sheamus on his birthday. right on the top of his head. I'm sure he's fine. We've heard nothing. And Lesnar and Gunter square up, do the Warrior Hogan in the middle of the ring, and the crowd are excited. Are we going to get Lesnar Gunter? Or is it Lesnar Lashley?
Lesnar Lashley.
Well, the Gunter match is another one for down the road that would be pretty
Maybe
awesome.
they do a triple threat.
That'd be awesome, especially for fans.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Big bastards smacking the shit of each other. Yeah, and then this is what I'm talking about. Lashley comes in at 13, and he's doing his jog, and he's trying to look annoyed at Lesnar, but he just looks a bit perturbed. So he's just kind of like running in to check what that alarm's going off in the kitchen, because he didn't remember setting an alarm, but he's like, oh, what's going on there? And I'm like, I don't know. Clears the ring, escapes an F5, and eliminates Lesnar. And Brock, I'm just thinking, you genius. That's like 12 minutes work for what? 20 billion?
I thought the same thing. Look at him. He looks back up and smiles. I thought, yeah, I know why you're smiling and laughing there, boy.
He kisses Sable on the top of the head and he says, right, love, I'll be back within the hour. I'm off to the Rumble, but I'll be back shortly. Don't worry. Stick dinner on in about 25. And magic. What a genius. And the crowd are pretty shocked at Lashley eliminating Lesnar. And I think this is the kind of stuff that needs to be given to Lashley to make him elevate him to that next to like superstar level. But I think he'll always have the promo problem. What do you think about Lashley?
He's never clicked for me, Lashley. I think like it's really hard for him to look mad. People like to look for the size of the guy. Like, how does he not look intimidating? But there's something about him. I'm not that intimidated by him. He's not a Brock. He's not scary like that. He's
another kind face.
Yeah, kind face. Yeah, almost cartoon character, like so friendly looking. Just I'm not intimidated by him, mate. I want to be.
But you're right. While Mick's camera restarts itself, it is a clicking problem. He's never clicked with me either, and I think some people just never will. But then again, we said that about Roman for years in his spot, and eventually that did work out. But I wish. I think Brock Lesnar should do those kind of self-help seminars. Get paid 20 million for 10 minutes work. The Brock Lesnar way. Baron Corbin in at 14, but Brock's going nuts on the outside. F5's Corbin before he gets in the ring. So far, perfect use of Corbin. Next, we got Seth 15 Rollins, and can they? That freaking thing is really grinding my gears, because when they're not calling him Seth freaking Rollins, he's doing that laugh, and it's almost changed the channel heat for me. Seth obviously always amazing in the ring, but that laughter, dude, especially when you're in an Applebee's advert, I'm not going to any restaurant with someone laughing like that in it.
Like, I like the laugh at first, but it's the way that it's just gimmicky now. It's
his whole character. It's just
it's been pretty bad for a while. Like,
imagine talking to someone like that though, and they're just like, "Well, ha ha ha! I was walking down the street, ha ha!" And you're like, "Get to the point, or shut up." But yeah, throws Corbin in, super kicks him, eliminates him. Chef's kiss, perfect Corbin use, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Otis in at number 16. Otis doesn't do much for me. The caterpillar's no worm. But
he did do a caterpillar, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's no worm, is it? It's
no, sorry, yeah, no. It is no worm at all.
But and another nearly terrifying suplex on Sheamus. Again, it's his birthday, so come on, guys. Rey Mysterio in at number 17, or is he? I've written here in my notes, beaten up by Son? Question mark. But we never got an answer. But apparently he was injured in a match with Karrion Kross on SmackDown, and so they kind of hastily alluded to him being beaten up backstage by his ex-con offspring, Dominic Mysterio, which has just been, since Dominic went to prison, that storyline's just firing on all cylinders. Have you seen
Dominic? He's great.
Oh man, and he's got just an outrageous mullet in 2023.
Yeah, all I was thinking was Eddie, early Eddie in the WCW Nitro days. Like it's that, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish he could work like Eddie, but the character at the moment is
Give
really
him
doing it for
time.
me.
He's only a young lad.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Seth,
such a long young lad, though, isn't he? He's a very strange looking lad, Dominic Mysterio.
I
Like
want.
he looks longer than he should be.
Yeah, I wonder. Oh, he'd fit perfectly in these Titantron screens that we're talking out of at the moment. But yeah, I wonder how long he's been bigger than his dad. Probably a long while. But yes, Seth slips behind Lashley, eliminates him. At this point, I'm wondering if there's another word for eliminate, because I'm just writing the word eliminate over and over in my notes. Throws out. I don't know.
Jibbed him over the top rope.
Yeah, yeet. Of course. What was that? I was tired. But yeah, Dominic is in at number 18 with Ray's mask, because they beat him up backstage. Cole, Michael Cole calls him a piece of shit. Oh man, it's amazing. They're all like talking about what a disappointing kid
a
is.
real piece of shit.
I know, and like calling him the worst son in the world. It's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Otis eliminated by the bangers, and then McAfee takes the time to inform us that Dom was a prison bitch as he stays out of the ring. Confirmation. I mean, it was a 2-hour stint, I think, 2 stretch, but yeah, time enough to become a bitch. Good for him. That's fast work. Elias in at number 19 with a guitar, smacks Gunter with the guitar, but then takes the Claymore Brogue Kick sandwich, which was pretty beautiful. And Elias.
Did he get hit with that? Because he looked like he lost a couple of teeth. It looked like one of them caught him square in the mouth.
Dude, I mean, I'm glad it's not my job to stand in a ring and take that move to the face. From those two guys. I mean, I
two men, yeah. It's like, yeah.
Like I was backstage at a WCPW show, and it was a very small corridor, and Drew came out of the showers, and we were like, you know, basically pressed up against each other in this really narrow corridor. But he is fucking huge, dude. And that guy coming running at you, no.
Yeah.
So good for Elias, but poor guy. Balor in at 20. Eliminates Gargano after 30 minutes. But everyone, yeah, Johnny, I just kept forgetting he was in there. And every time I saw him, I was like, who is that? Oh, it's Johnny Wrestling. All right. Yeah, and then your favourite Booker T, you called him number 21.
I did call Buck, and I love him. He's great, isn't he?
And a few kicks, looking a little bit worse for wear on the kicks, but, you know, he's getting up there in years and he wasn't in there for very long.
Yeah, I think he's been having the odd little match, hasn't he, here and there with his wrestling wrestling academy and stuff, and training people. But yeah, I was like, I'll just do the spinning rooney and fuck off, mate.
He did it.
That's all I want to fucking do. And he did it well.
And again, he's out there very quickly, and hit the bookend as well. So that's great. Damian Priest in at number 22. So all of the Judgment Day are in the ring now, apart from Rhea. And they dominate for a while, work as a unit. Montez Ford, another tag teamer. He's in and out really quickly. Poor guy. Because I think he's certainly athletic, is Ford. His jumps are ridiculous. And I quite like the Street Profits.
I like the Street Profits, to be fair, but I like Montez Ford a lot. And I think he should be not in the tag team anymore.
It would be cool to see what he could do as a single star for sure. And then Edge is back at number 24. The first time we've seen him since the Judgment Day concertoed him and his wife, Mick.
Did they? Did they concerto Beth as well?
Oh yeah, and that was the last time we saw him. That was in October, and he came out here and got his revenge. And I think this is the third year in a row where Edge has made a return and done like 3 spears in a row. Just do this every Rumble from now on. It could just be the Edge spot, like Taker at WrestleMania. But yeah, and then he basically eliminates everyone. Dominic interrupts Edge, but the Judgment Day pull a Hulk Hogan on Sid Justice and just yank him out from outside the ring. Boo! And then I've written Dom to win? Question mark.
You know, I was the more it was going, I was like, Dominic's gonna sneak this, maybe.
A little dark
Something
horse.
good. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool, man. I liked it. I really did enjoy watching Dominic in the Rumble a lot.
Yeah, like I said, they've got his character to a sweet spot now, and it's just a joy to see him work.
Finn Balor, who's always great, but looked like he'd got tangled up in his Christmas decorations, taken down. Like, what was going on with him?
I was trying to think of what he looked like. There were Max Moon vibes for sure.
What was Finn Balor like yesterday?
Well, you know when you've done all your Christmas present wrapping, and then you've got that literally a last bit of wrapping paper that's too small or too long for any present. So he's just got that and put it on his arm. He's like done because he doesn't want to be wasting any wrapping paper in this economy, Mick.
Absolutely, especially the shiny, foily, like glossy stuff.
Yeah, it's good
That's
stuff.
expensive, man.
And if you're in there for like that amount of time, it's perfect. You know, any longer it would have started, falling to pieces. But it was all good. But yeah, Edge chased the Justice. What are they called? Because I just put JD here. Edge chases the Judgment Day up the very long entranceway. Rhea attacks Edge, but Beth appears to make the save with a spear. And that's a nice wrap up to that storyline, if it is indeed wrapped up. Omos in at number 26. If King was on commentary, he would have definitely said that was his new pick. But the brothers of Bang are awaiting Omos in the ring, looking completely drenched from head to toe because they've been in there for about an hour at that point. And Omos cleans house sadly and even chokeslams Gunter. And I'm like, oh, God, no. And then he says, can't nobody touch this? I'm like, that's not even the lyric, mate. Fucking hell. But
Not
yeah,
an almost fan.
I mean, he'd make a good coat rack at a party, but as a pro wrestler, I don't think so. Well, do you think he's going to surprise us this year?
I just see him as like a big boogeyman. Like he should be a giant boogeyman to work with normal boogeyman.
Oh, man. Well, hey, Strowman and Ricochet are a team at the moment. And Ricochet looks like a little mini-me version of Braun stood next to him like that. They've got the same sort of dyed beard that looks exactly the same.
And I like that tag team.
Oh, man.
I mean, I've not watched them, so I can't say I like it, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, good on paper. Strowman and Corbin back in the day were a big reason for me checking out of like watching WWE a lot. So I can't say I was over the moon to hear that Strowman had gone back in because I thought, can you wash that control your narrative stink off of someone? But I guess they pretty much have because people are loving it. But yeah, have they teamed in with Ricochet because he's complaining about all these spot monkeys doing flips on the indies, and they're like, well, here's your meet your new partner. It's a buddy cop movie. They've got to
I work alone.
they've got to learn to work together. Oh my god! But yeah, Strowman eliminates Omos, and Dominic is
the brawn. It's Triceracop.
Heel cop, meet your new partner. Face cop. But yeah, Dominic is still in the Rumble. Ricochet 28. Cole mentions the goofy top dollar because he fell off the rope about 3 weeks ago, and he keeps having to go at top dollar for botching one time. That sounds like something that Vince already back on the headsets. He's mentioned top dollar falling off the top rope. Vince, he's not even here. I said mention him now.
He's just on a WhatsApp call to Cole privately. Like, you'll still listen to me now, Michael.
Yeah,
always, now, forever.
He probably misses shouting at Michael Cole. Bless Vince. I mean, you know. But Gunter eliminates both the bangers. And Gunter was number 1 and Sheamus was number 2. But then forget all about that, Mick. Because at number 29, it's crypto scammer Logan Paul.
Who I also predicted for the Rumble. I thought we'd get Logan. What do you think of Logan Paul in WWE?
Well, I obviously because I'm human, I hate the Paul brothers a lot, and like a lot. However, in every single one, oh yeah, and his animal abuse as well. Thank you, Pat-Man.
I can't stand them either, obviously, but I don't know about animal abuse as well. Fuck me.
Well, he had a pig. Hey, what's up? Reb XX19.
That's my missus. Hiya.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for tuning in. That's very sweet of you. I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. But well, yeah, Logan had this pig, and the pig was found sort of neglected in another field, and allegedly it wasn't Logan's fault, but there's, you know, his cons section, his cons column. There's enough in there already.
It sounds like a DMX and dog story on a social media YouTube level that I've never seen before.
And Logan Paul doesn't even have any fire anthems. Like, where's Logan Paul's equivalent of Wear the Hood at? He doesn't even have it. He didn't even make the bangers that his brother Jake did. Nice to meet you too, Rev. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. But yeah, hate Logan Paul, obviously. We'll take that as read. But in every single one of his WWE matches, he's done stuff that's made me go, wow. You know, he's athletic as fuck and almost looks built to do this physically, because he's a great spot taker. He did that frog splash at Mania. He did that splash through Roman while he was filming it on his phone at
that was great.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
And then last night, him and Ricochet do this double springboard spot. From one,
that was legitimately like, what the fuck?
Insane, because there's...
It's very rare you get that in wrestling now. Like, we see so much from everybody, and that was like, fuck.
And kudos to the wrestlers for coming up with more insane shit to make us fans who always want more to find ways to make us go, whoa, still. But yeah, they're in opposite sides of the ring on the apron. They do a double springboard and smack it to each other, and the slap of flesh was sickening. The Mission Impossible 2 spot off the motorcycles, Pat-Man, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. But we see that double sort of crossbody spot in the ring a lot of times, and it usually doesn't look good because they're doing it safely. But this, oh my God. I mean, yeah, Logan Paul's a young lad, so he can take that kind of punishment, but my God. And yeah, good for them. And I saw someone tweet that it's a bit of a shame for Ricochet that in that Rumble they're kind of putting Ricochet and Logan Paul up as kind of equals, and Ricochet's been doing this grind for 15 years, and Logan Paul's like some billionaire twat who's just trained in his own private gym for 2 months, but like is naturally gifted. You can't say that he isn't. But I still hate him. But then there's the prospect in wrestling, and I don't mean genuinely hurt. No, I don't mean genuinely hurt. But when he's in the ring, I'm like, yeah, fuck him off, Gunter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And everyone boos when he comes in, and all the other wrestlers start stomping him. So they're at least now kind of getting that. We know you want to be a babyface, Logan, but let's lean into some of the heel stuff for now. And I say thank you, Texas, when they're stomping him. Paul hits another buckshot lariat again and does it really well. And I think the last one he did was nearer the Punk botch. But they're Logan's obviously like, I can do one of the AEW moves really well. They're like, yeah, definitely do that. Definitely do that. Yeah, because I've written here, Gunter grabs him. Yes, kill him, Gunter. But again, I don't mean genuinely. I probably don't mean genuinely. And that brings us to the final entrant, Adrenaline in My Soul, number 30's Cody Rhodes.
Okay, so this is amazing, what I'm going to tell you now. Okay. I had genuinely forgot about Cody Rhodes in the Rumble. And when I saw the American flag in the smoke, I thought it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
And you were...
I swear to God, I thought Duggan was going to come out.
And you were standing up on your sofa giving the hoe.
I had to sound really fucking low as well, and I was just fucking Duggan number 30.
Number 30? Can you imagine? It's been building up to this! Hacksaw Jim Duggan at number 30!
Well, I'd seen a rumour he was going to be there as well. I was like, fucking... But I hadn't thought about it at all until that, and I was like, fucking Jim Duggan.
And doesn't that show you how successful Duggan was? That you see you see Old Glory, the Stars and Stripes, and you immediately think of not Hogan, not Slaughter, Duggan. Oh man, hey, what could have been? What could have been? If only they had the courage.
My dream will come through.
Yeah, Hacksaw and Roman. The You Think You're Special WrestleMania monochrome video. Pat-Man, I'm loving it tonight. But yeah, loud woe from the crowd during My Kingdom, which is good, and it shows that I know he's done a few matches in the Fed since he came back with that music, but even at his debut at last year's WrestleMania, the crowd doing the woe along with the song, and I'm like, okay, this is great. People know Cody. He is a star, and it was great to see him in the Rumble. Like I said, the only problem is, while he's been away, the Sami Zayn storyline has just blown up, and I think it was wise to keep Sami out of the Rumble so the crowd didn't turn on it if he wasn't going to win. But I think the whole reaction to Cody winning was a little bit subdued, but more subdued than I think it would have been. What do you reckon?
I can't stand Cody Rhodes.
Can't stand him.
I cannot stand Cody Rhodes. he literally pickles my head. Mate, I can't do with him at all. I just can't do with him. God love his dad and God love Goldust, but fucking Cody Rhodes, mate, no. It's just something about him that just tears me off instantly, and then he come with the whole nightmare bullshit tattoo as well. I'm like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? What are you fucking doing with your life here, lad? Come on, behave now, Cody. I've got a lot of respect for the guy, like 100%, but he just doesn't click with me. I don't see him as a big title hold. Like, no, mate.
So I take it you didn't watch any or every episode of Roads to the Top, their reality show, did you? No.
Come again.
Their Total Bellas-esque reality show.
No, I watched a few shots of Brandy on YouTube. That was about it.
I was enjoying him in Dynamite. I didn't think, because he left WWE, he did that tour of the Indies, New Japan, because he believed he was the guy. Like a lot of wrestlers do and should. They believe they're the guy. He wasn't given that chance. I respect his hustle for going away and proving himself, and he has that star aura for sure. In AEW, I always thought his character was very heelish, even though he always wanted to be face. He had his own entrance in the middle of the stage that no one else had, and the crowd started to give him the boos in AEW. But I thought his return to WWE was amazing. I had the goosebumps, and I loved his match with Seth. And I thought, respect. I say respect for him wrestling with that pec injury, but maybe that's not the right word. Well done. Probably don't do that for that injury.
Well, that's another thing that turns me off about Cody Rhodes, that he felt he had to fucking do that to be, well, look at me, I'm the fucking grandson of a plumber and I can do anything with one arm. I'm not arse, mate. You're annoying as fuck, lad. And you're trying to play on that emotional fucking ties to make me like you. And no, lad. How many wrestlers have you seen get seriously injured in the ring? Like, genuinely, and he's kind of just pissing the face out a little bit, like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I shouldn't be doing.
It was probably not the wisest thing to do, but I again, it was a new thing in wrestling. I'd never seen anyone with 95% bruises on their body going in a match. I was like, fuck, dude, and it was
crazy, like.
It was compelling, and it had my attention, and I was very excited for Cody to be back in WWE, and then obviously he had that injury, so we've not seen him for a while. And like I said, now Sami Zayn's the babyface player in the company at the moment. The viewing figures during his Bloodline trial on Raw 30 were like the highest in 3 years, higher than the old stars coming back on that show, like Taker and Hogan and DX. And I think it's Cody was up there for me, and I think Zayn is that spot now. I was always. I completely get what you're saying, because I was always kind of like, I like Cody, but I don't see him as the ultimate babyface that he sees himself as. However, since coming back into the Fed, I'm completely with him on the journey, and I think it's until now, Sami Zayn's bloody ruined everything. But yeah, Cody looks healed, definitely fighting ready, and denies Dominic the Three Amigos. And that's when I realised that we hadn't seen Kofi again. Oh, we've basically covered all of this. The ridiculous springboard spot, but yeah, the final four were Cody, Theory, Rollins, and Gunter. So yeah, Gunter broke the longest time in the Rumble record,
He did, yeah.
and they love breaking records for next year's.
You know what I found impressive as well with the Gunter thing? Like, he did it without Imperium, which I thought, yeah, they're really fucking showing him off here, which he deserves, man.
Yeah, but then that created the problem of him being like a sympathetic face in the Rumble who'd gone the distance, but then had to be sort of fed to and eliminated by Cody at the end. So yeah, it was a bit. I think that as well modelled the reaction at the end of the Rumble, because Gunther had been the hero since number one. But yeah, didn't use his team. Good point. But yeah, Gunther's always amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, big fan.
Now, Seth and Cody start working together because they have to on Gunter, but then remember their feud and kind of want to fight. But who eliminates Seth Rollins from the Rumble? At least that will stop him from laughing. But yeah, Logan Paul does that surprise re-entry because he never got eliminated. And eliminates Seth Rollins. So we're getting Logan Paul, Seth Rollins at Mania, are we?
I think so. I think so.
You know, those two athletically could pull off one hell of a match.
I think it'll be really good. Yeah. I thought that's going to be a great match. That'll be a really good match. Could be a fucking show stealer.
For sure. But Gunter at the end takes the crossroads and clotheslined over the top. But also Cody hit the Shattered Dreams. Did you like that at least?
Yeah, well, right. So I like that, but the camera angle was so poor because you just see you kick the bottom turnbuckle. And it's like, yeah, look shit.
Yeah, the Shattered Dreams was always a move that I would see in the video games, but for some reason always missed it live. And Dustin hasn't done that move in ages. So that was great to see again. But yeah. Teased eliminating Gunter with an inverted Benoit Big Show elimination. I'm like, stop alluding to Benoit eliminating Big Show. But a nice clothesline, and Gunter was in the Rumble for 71 minutes.
Yeah, I knew it was well over an hour, like.
And like I said, I was knackered. I was absolutely knackered.
I like, it got to the end of it, and I was like, oh shit, there's still loads to come here.
Loads.
I feel like I've already watched at least half a pay-per-view.
My God. Well, and you know, this is the thing. You've got to have the men's and women's Rumble on the same show, because otherwise it's not going to be, you know, if they took my gender's Rumble and did it like at Elimination Chamber or somewhere else, you would be like, well, I want my Rumble to be on the Rumble. But 2 Rumbles in one show is too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, I think the Rumble's a big enough event in itself. You know, like I say, I think it should be a main event every time. And
because it's 2 hour-long matches.
It builds up to that. Like, that's the fucking big one. You know, It should be special.
But yeah, polarizing on Twitter, I saw some people saying it was one of their least favourite Rumbles ever. Definitely not least favourite, but it's not in my top 5. I give it 2.5 Foxes out of 5, mate.
I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it was a pretty solid Rumble. I think there were a lot of guys in there who got to do the bits as well. Who deserved to get a little bit of spotlight. Like Gunther, man, he really did deserve that. To show it off. I quite enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to. I've been so disappointed by WPPs for a long time, so I enjoy. I think that's why I'll give it 3.5, because I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Nice. And hello, W. Bossier. Good to see you. We're then told you can step into the ring as Bad Bunny in 2K23. No thanks.
Who I did expect to come in the Rumble as well. We saw no Bad Bunny. Disappointing.
But yeah, I mean, you know, now for these new 2K23 games, they're like, play as Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. I was like, does anyone want to pick them for their career mode character in the game?
Do you want to beat the shit out of them, though?
Best ending since Taker Sean, says Patman. That was the greatest ending to a Rumble possibly ever. Taker and Sean just doing like a mini match at the end there. Just fantastic. I really liked the end of the Girls' Rumble. I really, really did. The rest of the match, very dull, but I liked the ending. But yeah, it was good stuff. Like I said, I wasn't, because of the Sami Zayn stuff, like I wasn't as excited for Cody to win as I would have been. Do you think they should have saved him for a surprise rather than advertising?
Yeah,
that he was going to be
absolutely. There? Yeah, it ruins the Rumble for me, that as well, because it was such a given.
Well, it was for you.
Even I forgot about it when
Yeah.
I thought it was Duggan.
You thought it was Duggan, exactly. But now it's time for what we're all here for, the pitch black match.
Oh my! Like, this is the thing about this, right? Is Bray is always presented pretty well, and like,
really well. That's why he's over.
He looked fucking awesome, Bray. Like the paint and stuff, and the masks and that. He looked fucking great, man.
And I thought that song was good as well. Whatever.
Yeah, it was, and I love LA Knight. I like LA Knight a fucking lot. Like, I think he's great. Some say he's just like rock, but I know I've got a lot of time for LA Knight, man. He's great. So
LA Knight is shoes of a champion. And when I'm not watching, when I'm like looking off screen, his voice, it sounds like he's got the same vocal cords as Dwayne Johnson, because he sounds so spot on. The only difference is he says "yeah." I'm seeing ya, I'm hearing ya, I'm feeling ya, rather than you. But yeah, his cadence and tone is definitely out of the Rock's book, isn't it? But
apologize, one sec.
No worries at all. But this essentially, people weren't sure exactly what it was going to be. But let's be honest, it was a sponsorship match, because there's no getting away from the Mountain Dew logo in the middle of the ring, all around the ring. It's always
it's so weird that they decided to bring Bray back in this manner attached to a fucking advertisement.
Yeah, a spooky kind of his sort of paranormal style of match.
Like, I thought Naomi was going to jump out like in between two cars, like dropping flags for them to start. Like, Naomi was going to be special referee. It was so fucking weird.
It took me right back to Quasar in the 90s. But I'm glad that everyone had clean gear on, because, you know, those black lights, they will show the stains, and we would have seen them. But yeah, everything's under a UV light, and you're just being beaten over the head with Mountain Dew. And we can't even get pitch black in this country, so thanks for that. But yeah, it was a nice break after that long rumble. But yeah, not good. The crowd are silent.
My favourite bit was like, why was the table filled with styrofoam green balls? Was it meant to be like ectoplasm exploding from the table? I don't know what it was meant to be. It was funny as fuck though.
Yeah, it looked like.
And Bray was pulling handfuls out when he was moving the monsters, so it was like, it wasn't even a surprise. Like, oh yeah, he's pulling green stuff out. It's weird.
It was like it was booked by Vince, and Vince had only just discovered UV light. You know, he'd just been down Laser Quest. Like I said, he's like, we've got to do this, and everything. I mean, it was a cool look, but we've seen this kind of thing with Bray so many times. When it actually gets down to the match, there's been a lot of excitement around him since the return, but when it always gets down to the match, it's either a stupid gimmick like this, or he's not selling, which he did at the end when he put on his magical mask. And you can't have wrestlers who don't sell, and that was what killed the Fiend. Fiend, great look, but it never worked in match. And Bray's always had that problem. I think he's got the tools, but again, the crowd was quiet, and I just put here same old Bray Wyatt bullshit ? And I think that's what it was.
Oh, like, here's the theory I've got. Right, and I do love Bray, but Bray is not as good without the Wyatt family.
Man,
helping him out, like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan being there with him.
He's got the puppets.
Luke Harper's fucking great as well, you know, and he was such a good wrestler himself. Rowan is a decent big man,
yeah.
But with them being there, Bray wasn't doing as much, so it looked a bit more impactful.
You're right.
Whereas when Bray's on his own, doing it all on his own, it doesn't quite have the same feel, you know.
Yeah, and they were just a great unit, and that was my favourite Bray Wyatt era. I even thought that
absolutely
the story where Bryanson Danielson sort of fake joined him and wore like a jumpsuit for a while. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, really good. I enjoyed that.
But Bray did look like an enemy from God of War Ragnarok with the face paint and the lenses. So there was that. Sister Abigail, the end. Crowd are like meh. Puts mask on. Crowd go no cells. I go ugh. And then the kendo stick under the UV light looks like the lightsaber we have at home.
That was so funny. Like, do you know what it kept reminding me of? It's like when you were a kid and you went camping and you had the tennis balls that were green and pink that you throw on the hand paddles. That's all I could think of watching it with this fucking kendo stick.
Scatch.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, man. Saw Bray Wyatt called the worst bout machine on Twitter. Oh, I mean, he has had some stinkers. And the kind of everyone who's worked with Bray Wyatt afterwards doesn't come out of it looking too great. And that kind of happened to LA Knight as well. I don't know. Do you see much for him in WWE? I'm not sure I do.
I think maybe 5-6 years ago, yeah. Not now at the moment because there's a lot of people. Like the kind of mid-card titles he'd be going for. There's so many more better people than him, unfortunately.
What music is playing? What the hell? Don't know what the hell that was. But yes,
you've had an ad trigger, so
I saw you. Tweet about the biker scene from Batman and Robin. Batman, yeah, absolutely. Offspring playing in that scene. I didn't even realise that at the time. But yeah, then we see Uncle Howdy on a big platform, and he does a giant elbow, Shane McMahon style, misses by quite some way, but it does set off pyro. So there you go. And the puppets look down on what was a pure wrestling match that Carl Gotch himself would have been proud of. I think there, Mick.
I mean, I think they fucked themselves up with the camera angle with Uncle Howdy thing, because how many times have we seen that same jump done before, but it doesn't look like it misses anything? It's because the camera angle was so close and like weird. It was, it wasn't done well and dark.
Yeah, he's doing it at night time as well. Can't see shit. But is Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas? Is that where this is going?
But yeah, I think it could be Bo Dallas, but are they going to reveal it's Bo Dallas? I don't know.
Well, we're just going to have to...
It might just be Bo Dallas rehired in that suit forever. You're never going to know it's him.
We're going to have to see how it plays out. But next we have Bianca versus Bliss. And I'm just like, double Uncle Howdy bullshit back to back in two separate matches. And then we got it. I was like, come on. And the crowd were dead for a while after that first Rumble. I got to say, they didn't really perk up for this match. I didn't make a lot of notes. I've also put here that match gave me Monster in My Pocket's neon vibe. Like there was the original wave of Monster in My Pocket, but then because it was the mid-90s, everything had like a neon, and they were like, Stabilo Boss highlighter colors, like you say, the Scatch, the neon pink, the neon green, like the Switch Joy-Con colors. I thought that's a bit of a throwback to the 90s.
Yes. It is, yeah.
But I love it, man. Like back at, being a kid in the 90s, everything, there were all these colours everywhere. It was an exciting time. And now when you go back and watch like WrestleMania 9 and you're seeing those colours again, it's awesome. That's why I bought that Young Buck shirt that I wear on stream sometimes, because it's the most neon thing I'd seen since the 90s.
And has there been a colour better than neon? Has there? No.
I was just about to say, where do you land on the Elite Young Bucks controversy? It seems to be a very much...
I honestly am bored of it all.
I
don't care, to be honest. Like, Punk's a dick. Everyone knows Punk's a dick. So that's kind of that. And the Bucks and Kenny aren't going anywhere. So, yeah. That's it, isn't it, really? It's just...
That's basically it. Did you see Seth Rollins' comments about Punk?
Yeah, I did. And brilliant. Yeah, go on, Seth. Fair play.
And you're like, that's no angle, is it? Because...
Not at all.
I doubt, well, Punk as far as we know, is still under contract with AEW. I don't think he's going to be back in WWE anytime soon anyway. But yeah, Punk's fucking DVDs talking about Seth Rollins coming into the Ring of Honor training school very early on. A lot of praise for him. And I'm like, they must have a good relationship. Nope. And fair play to all these wrestlers, dude. Like I've been a Punk fan for he does make it super difficult to be a Punk fan, but there's no denying that he's an absolute nightmare. I wouldn't want to work with him. I don't even think I want to talk to him because he'd probably be really, really rude, and there's no need for it. Like do you think he's so uptight because he's got nothing to take the edge off being straight edge?
Yeah.
You know,
It's the answer to that question. Yeah, I feel for his partner. Like,
not even like a king size Twix because he's got to stay in shape. Like nothing to kind of.
I'll just chill out at home, Phil. I write Thor comics. That's what I do to unwind. I write fucking Thor comics, mate, and walk me weird dog around.
I guess he can, Pat, man. That's a good point. And it's funny you mentioned that because it was after the Rumble that I noticed that wank was trending in the UK. So there's that. But yeah, there's not a lot of notes here. Kiss of Death. Belair retains the Raw Women's Championship, and every time I get reminded of Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship, please get rid of that shite. We need one top championship for the women and for the men, and then maybe have like a IC Intercontinental variation, like the TBS Championship. But I hate the.
Do you think they'll combine the belts once Roman drops them?
I really want them to, but especially now there's no brand split, is there? Really, everyone's all over the place. So the Raw Championship, I don't know. It just makes it seem like it's who cares.
I didn't mind so much when you had the W title and the big gold.
Yeah,
because big gold is still something that you're ranking high. It's not like it's not as good as W title. It's a fucking big gold belt. It's still so super prestigious.
Yeah,
you can't have that as like a 11 player field high. It's top tier belt, but just the same belt with a different fucking skin on. No,
yeah, and it's like it's the red belt or the blue belt. Who cares? But Rollins does his laugh in an Applebee's ad. Yeah, and it's Women's Rumble time now, and this is when I noticed that both the current WWE ring announcers they kind of suck a little bit. They've kind of got voices that grate on me, nails to a chalkboard kind of thing. And especially the lady, Ricochet's missus, she's going to absolutely destroy her vocal cords. So just chill out. I mean, God, I miss Fink. Howard Finkel.
Oh, mate.
Best of all time.
And Heenan, man, like commentators like Bobby Heenan, we miss so much now.
We got McAfee now, it's fine.
Well, I said I liked him. Don't turn me off again by comparing him to fucking Heenan, man.
Yeah, so we've got Rhea Ripley in at number 1 and Liv at number 2.
Did you think Rhea was nailed on to win it, as Cody was in my mind?
She was the only choice when I really sat down and thought about it. So yeah, that was kind of what I expected to happen. Because who else really?
Good point. And I didn't think it was going to be anyone but Rhea. But so yeah.
Yeah, we saw Liv in the title picture last year, and it weren't great. And I think Rhea, she looked like she was going to have a great run on top a few years ago with the whole Charlotte stuff, and then she kind of lost to Charlotte and got sort of kicked back down the card and has kind of languished there for a while. But this Judgment Day stuff now, bringing her up, this character's great, and yeah. But then Dana Brooke came in at number 3, so I thought, well, this could be anyone's Rumble to win it. And that's when I went to get a biscuit. It's like, biscuit break. Emma in at number 4. I'm sure Emma's a lovely person, but my humble opinion is she cannot work for shit.
No West Ham Bubbles entrance either.
Nope, she doesn't even have that anymore. Also, didn't she shoplift when she was a WWE superstar?
Does she have like an Apple iPad cover?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fucking.
Oh, goody.
Jesus. Like, you see it by the counter, you're like, I've got to have it. I've got to have that iPad cover. iPad cover. It's like that Simpsons line. Now she'll really be surprised when she gets that ironing board cover for Christmas. Absolutely ridiculous. Botching ring with Ripley. And the girls are all trying to get Ripley out. Shayna in at number 5. Her music's changed as well. Bayley in at number 6. Oblivion on Bayley by Liv for a near elimination. As you can see, my notes for the Women's Rumble weren't that extensive because nothing much was happening. I've got to say until the end. B-Fab in at number 7. Rhea kills her and eliminates her, and has got blood all over her face from God knows where. Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, in at number 8. Should have stuck around for a longer time because she was a local girl, but was out very, very quickly. Dakota in at 9. And at this point, I'm like, 2 Rumbles in one show is too much, especially at 3:30 a.m. Because sometimes when you're watching a show in this country live, and some bits start to drag on, and then you've got a lot of people, in America going, "Oh God, I'm a bit knackered. It's 10:30 p.m." Must be tough. Io Sky at number 10. So all of Damage Control are in. They kind of take control for a while. Brooke saves Emma from elimination, but gets eliminated by Damage Control. They eliminate, and then that's where Perez gets eliminated, and the crowd very unhappy about that. And this is how you make stars. Keep her in for a bit. Give her some stuff to do. She doesn't have to win it, but you can have moments in a Rumble early on that people remember. Like, most
what
eliminations.
Happened? Who was the female wrestler who was doing the whole term, like the corner post climbing gimmick?
Oh, Katie Catanzaro, who's
That's
now
the one.
Katana Chance. She was rebranded, just like all of them are, to get any real names out of their names, so WWE can completely control over that. Yeah, but and where was she? Because you're right, she's done some great Rumble spots in the past. Because she kind of did a spot that took shine away from Kofi's spot that year. It was really great. Natalya in at number 11 with Jim the Anvil Neidhart hat, glasses, but no little beard. Come on, Natalya, go the whole way if you're gonna. Candice in at number 12, and like I said, always just crickets for her. I don't really know why. Control eliminate Natalya and Shayna, and then we get Zoe Stark in at 13. Xia Li in at number 14. So again, not much is happening. But Becky's in at number 15, just like her partner Seth was. And the crowd are very happy to see her. And then it's Tegan at 16, and the announcers get stuck on her shiniest wizard move. Talk about it for way too long. But then Asuka's in at number 17 with, like I said, new music that sounds a bit like the old music, but she's full on Kana with her hair and her makeup, face paint, and just absolutely kills it as always, and the crowd are loving it. But I didn't ask. I think she won the first Women's Rumble, didn't she, Asuka? I think it was Nakamura and Asuka in the same year.
I think you're right, yeah.
Those were great Rumbles. Those were exciting. She eliminates Tegan. Then we got Piper Niven at 18, not Doudrop, Mick.
Which I thought was very, very, very good. I'm made up she got her name back.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was going to show up because she said she had some heart problems and stuff after COVID.
Dude. But that's scary news, and all the best to her, of course. And yeah, you're right, man. Can you imagine saying to your friends and family, "Oh, I've made it in wrestling. I'm on the WWE." Oh yeah. And then you'd be like, "Yeah, don't watch though because they've called me Doudrop." And they'd be like, "Doudrop?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, Doudrop." But no longer. Yeah. So good for her. Tamina, loads of Doudrop references. Tamina in at number 19. I've written lol. Always expected, never welcome. I know she didn't do the murder, but she's just boring and she can go away. Chelsea Green returns at number 20. And then immediately sets the record for quickest. They said quickest elimination, but I would imagine it's quickest elimination in a women's rumble, because we've had fast ones before, like Santina Morella, who was literally in and out in a single second. And then Becky eliminates Io and Dakota, but then Bayley eliminates Becky for chucking out her Damage Control compatriots, and then Liv eliminates Bayley. But I don't know. I'm not
sold on
it.
Liv Morgan at all. I'm
absolutely not. No. But then Zelina Vega coming out.
Sorry, Liv, if you're watching, love.
Zelina Vega in at number 21, dressed in the absolute perfect Jury from Street Fighter costume. She's wearing the best outfit, and they were plugging Street Fighter a lot because Zelina Vega is apparently going to be doing color commentary in Street Fighter 6. Commentary in Street Fighter.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
I'll be turning that off.
Selena, I did make a note of the bump she took when she got eliminated.
Oh shit, dude!
Fucking big drop, man.
What was she? She was in a Cobra clutch on the top
Yeah, Lacey
turnbuckle
Evans
by
on the
Lacey,
top rope, didn't she? Yeah, and just like, yeah.
and she dropped her from that height. And again, another sickening splat. Wow. But I got to say, as soon as Zelina gets in, she hilariously points at the WrestleMania sign, and I'm like, bravo, good for you, Zelina, because that is hilarious. I think she was the first one to do it that night. No, can't have been, because Cody pointed at the sign when he won and fireworks went off. But she gets in, points at the sign, I'm like, you genius. She gets it. That's funny, because, she's not going to Mania. But hey, what's up, Raging Silver? Zelina in Jury cosplay was awesome. Yeah, I thought so too. She did some stuff from the game too. Yeah, man. There was a bit where it'll be coming up here in my notes, but yeah, here we go. Zelina and Xia Li do a little 2D Street Fighter match on the ring apron, and they're kind of like constricted to that two-dimensional plane. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, she did like the Jury pose and stuff. I love Jury in Street Fighter 4, not so much in 5. But I think she's a cool new character, sort of like the opposite of Balrog, because she's mainly about kicks. But yeah, then Xia Li gets eliminated. Raquel Rodriguez at 22, and they were kind of portraying her as a big deal. Is she a big deal in your world, Mick?
She's big. She's got a big back. And like, that's kind of her thing, is look at my big back.
Yeah.
You could play a whole afternoon's game of Monopoly on that.
I am sick and tired of all these stories about my big back. The first such incident started in 1993 and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Meechin in at number 23, and they still can't decide what to call Mia Yim Meechin.
Oh. Just makes me think of Pikmin. Every time it's got... That's all I think of when I see the name.
Apparently, yeah, it has a meaning, but... What? Just call her one or the other. The announcers always seem confused. In fact, she comes out and Cole goes in at number 23, and there was a really, really long pause, and he just kind of goes, Meechin's here. And he's not, he's just completely unsure of what to call her. Just sort it out. Lacey Evans, 24. She's, to quote Jim Valley, full on, her character now is sexy Sergeant Slaughter. And good for her. But yeah, great elimination to Vega off that top.
Did you see a fake high five the disabled kid on whether it's Raw or SmackDown? Like, Jesus Christ.
I think I could easily see myself winding up in that situation as a heel, taking the high five away, and then immediately going, oh shit. But I don't know. You got to hope that the fan kind of gets wrestling to an extent enough where that'll be fine, and the parents were there.
I think it's you can take it both ways. Like, why should it be any different?
Exactly.
To any other fan, it shouldn't be.
Exactly.
As long as that fan understands what's happening. Yeah. In my point of view.
And then Kevin Owens apparently gave a T-shirt to that fan later on, so that's really, really cool. Kevin's just the best. The absolute.
Because he's the fucking best.
He really is.
I'll never forget when he come and fucking did Cena and was just standing on the belt over.
Dude, I think about that a lot.
An amazing moment, like.
And talking to Cena saying, I've been doing this longer than you, so you don't get to give me veteran advice.
Yeah.
Ever.
It was so fucking good, wasn't it?
Dude, he stamps on that US title and raises the NXT belt. What a great time. And props to Cena as well, putting someone over at that time.
Yeah, because it was like, we've done. And that's the thing, like with Roman's reign, it hasn't bothered me as much as Cena's did.
Well, because it hasn't been 10 straight years of it, has it?
Yeah, but no, well,
yet.
Yeah, I know, but yet. He'll do a few movies and come back, I'm sure.
For sure, yeah. And then we'd already seen Michelle McCall in the audience, but she's just there watching the show with her kids. She's not ready to go, but no, she is ready to go because she wears her wrestling gear, I imagine, to pick them up at soccer practice. I imagine when she goes to the shopping centre. She's got her gear on all the time, and thank God, because they play her music and she's ready to go. There we go. Out of the crowd and into the Rumble. Gunther was MVP. Rich, you're not going to hear an argument from me there. Absolutely great from Gunther, and I'm glad... hopefully now, at least, he'll get a name reference every year when they do the Royal Rumble's all about the numbers.
It's Michelle McCool. just more Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool, now than Michelle McCool, the wrestler who was once?
It'd be amazing.
That's how they kind of portray it all the fucking time. Is it Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool? Yeah, she used to wrestle.
Yeah, when she comes out, like it says Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool.
Yep.
But
One
hey,
of the funniest things I saw with the Undertaker whispering to Bray, and it was like, "Don't ever get your wife's name tattooed on your throat, son."
hey, I could have told you that. We all know that, especially when you're a fucking wrestler. And I know he wasn't a zombie at the time, but then he was a zombie, and he had some lady's name on his face, pretty much. Absolutely not. But yeah, we see the faith breaker on Zelina, squishes her with it. Absolutely squishes her with it. And Indy Hartwell is out next. Indy Hartwell from Index, the couple, not the old Argos style shop. And Indy tops Zelina by going even more hilarious, because Indy Hartwell then points at the WrestleMania sign. And I think I might have shed a tear from laughter. Just great. Just great. Yeah, I agree with Topsy. No Loomis. So without Loomis, Indy's kind of, I don't know, a bit underwhelming at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately.
At the moment. There was a spot left and someone said, any takers? That's cracking stuff, Batman. Sonya Deville at number 23. Great gear. Eliminates Zoe Stark. Lacey eliminates Zelina with the thing that we talked about. Cobra clutch off the top turnbuckle to the outside. No thanks. Shotzi in at number 28 with the tank. It would have been cool if Bron Breakker entered. Yeah. It would have been cool if Bron Breakker entered. Though, to be fair, the men's rumble was quite busy, and he probably just would have got lost in all the other stuff happening.
Yeah, busy with tag teams.
Exactly, Mick.
See, this is the point I'm fucking making, man.
You've ruined it for me though going forward now, because I'm always going to think about this. I'm going to be like, no.
Yeah,
no.
Anytime you see a tag team in a rumble, like Mick said,
they're like Sky Too Hotty has won the Royal Rumble, and I'll be like, no, absolutely not. Yeah, Sonya eliminates Indy. Nikki Cross in at number 29 with the sprint of a lifetime, like we've said, and with all that, especially with your entrance coat on, you just think.
Yeah, I would sprint into the ring like she's trying to deliver the calf in the field.
Like I would overthink it and 100% trip over, but she did it. Yeah. Raging Silver here with a good point. Ran like she was on fire. Had to put it out. And oh my god, at number 30, Nia Anti-Vax, and apparently she's back, looking like Dr. Eggman in that ring gear as well. I have to say. With the red and black.
Nia Jax coming back was hilarious to me. I instantly thought of Vince. I did. Instantly thought of Vince.
Yeah, is he already?
Okay.
But I just thought, she got a reaction from the crowd though. I just maybe wrestling fans do have short memories, but I was like, let's just hope she gives it her whole. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that?
Oh, I do remember that very well. I tried to forget it. You brought it back, thank you.
But yeah, the countdown timer broke, and the fans didn't get to count down from 10 for the last time. As her name and her music were just immediately on the screen. I don't welcome her back at all. Yeah, I don't. No, me neither. Because you're right, Rich. She actually injures people like over and over again. Accidents happen, but she's careless. I don't care for her attitude towards a lot of things in life, and just kind of has that I'm from a family that's famous, and I don't know how much hard work she's put into it, if any. But hey, a good spot at the end of the Rumble, and I'm glad that she didn't win. I think everyone gangs up on her, don't they? Oh no, Nia, yeah. Rhea picks her up for a scoop slam, and Rhea kind of botches the scoop slam, but then does a more impressive riptide on Nia, which makes up for it, and then everyone just throws her out. Yeah. What were you saying, Mick? Sorry.
No, I literally that. Yeah, it's a good spot seeing everyone throw out. Fun.
Yeah, Topsy says the rest of the women hating her was funny, just like in real life. Yeah, a background figure in the bloodline, possibly. I think that's the best place for her. Bloodline in the background with arms crossed, and no wrestling. I think that's the. And I only reckon she was eliminated because she was weak from the she had the shakes from the Pfizer vaccine. But yeah, Cole calls Asuka a buzzsaw, and I'm thinking like she did like Tajiri Michael Cole. And that is so racist, man. I don't know about you, Mick, but I'm sick of the xenophobic stereotype that everyone from Japan is a buzzsaw. And I think they're getting sick of it as well.
I'd seen about stereotypes in WWE full stop. It seems to be coming back full circle with the NXT 3.0.
Well, when
There's a lot of them.
And when Kofi and ex Xavier teased squaring off, but then did the wheelbarrow butt slap, I'm thinking they're preparing for Vince's return. They're smart. They're like, here you go, Vince, a little bit of butt action. Vince like, amazing. Asuka eliminates Sonya. Rhea eliminates Michelle. And then Michin eliminates Shotzi with an eat defeat to minus of a reaction. No, like, I think the whole crowd inhaled at the time. Whatever the absolute opposite of making sound was, that's what the crowd did. It was like a black hole was in the arena and sucked all the sound out of it. Raquel eliminates Piper. Ripley eliminates Raquel. Morgan eliminates Nikki. So as you can see, I was really into this match. Really, really into it. But then we get to the ending, which was really, really exciting. They're all on the apron. So the crowd's kind of edge of their seat, as am I. When you're on an apron in a Rumble, could end at any minute. Liv misted by Asuka. Rhea eliminates Asuka. And then there's a great near win from Liv with a code breaker. And Rhea's, she did it perfectly. She dropped, grabbed onto the rope. Her feet are kind of millimeters away from the floor. But then she does this amazing leg scissors to Liv that's so powerful. Gets the legs up. And Liv, again, splats on the floor for Rhea to win it. And she came in at number 1. So there's another record for your WWE record book. Guinness did release a gaming edition of their Guinness Book of Records at the time. And I think Vince and the guys, they're just making all these records so they can release their own one soon. But yeah. Thoughts on that Rumble, Mick?
Poor. It was pretty fucking unentertaining. Yeah, it wasn't great. I'm glad Rhea won. She deserved it, definitely. But yeah, it was a poor Rumble, and it did not keep me sports entertained.
And it's one of the reasons is just the lack of depth from the women's roster. Although it felt like there were less surprise returns from lady legends as well this year, like the men's. It was just Michelle, wasn't it, really, and not Trish.
Yeah,
Lita,
it's weird. It seems to be
Kelly.
a little. I'm gonna have to take a very quick break, mate.
No worries at all.
Give me 2 seconds.
Sounds good. Well, everybody, I'll take a 1-minute break off camera as well. Quite happens when Mick leaves. But yeah, don't go anywhere. And we're going to finish off chatting about this fun show. Because I had fun as well. Well, Raging Silver, we did see Beth early on as she saved... There we go. As she saved Edge from being attacked by Rhea during the men's rumble. But yeah, I thought, good finish. Where's the lie pop? Yeah, Batman. That's the new name for that pop, isn't it? Just silence. I know, I mean, in the rumble. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. She was there. But like I said, they clearly didn't need with the NXT ladies to fill up those spaces. They just didn't need her. And like I said, that's kind of good, isn't it? Because it shows you that men and women-wise, they've got a roster to do 2 Rumbles. Though doing 2 Rumbles, like I said, on one show is too many. But then, what do you do? Where do you put it? But anyway, yeah. Back in a second, guys. Don't go anywhere. We're going to finish up talking about the Rumble very shortly.
Can the world
Hello, everybody. We are back. Thank you, Kevin
Hello.
Owens, for that musical interlude. Okay. And I'm glad you're back, Mick, because it's time for us to talk about the second highlight of the show after the Pitch Black match. And that's the music performance from Hardy. I mean, I take it he's...
Who?
Since last night, I'm taking it that he's your most played on Spotify or whatever music streaming service you use. Well, we were told he was a country star.
Unfortunately, I went to get a biscuit when Hardy was performing.
Now, you're kind of playing with fire with live music performances at wrestling shows because you got fans of all different types of music in the crowd. So at best, you're going to get maybe a quarter of the audience applauding for being fans of that genre, maybe some polite applause. But usually it doesn't sound the best. But my God, those vocals really sounded shite. And we were told he was country, so I thought, oh God, country. But then it wasn't country. It was like... I was getting Kid Rock vibes at 4:26 a.m. And I was like, guys, I've written here, guys, it's not on. Especially as the show's elongated because people who are watching the free version of the network then get long adverts after a match. So for us watching on the network or Peacock or wherever who are watching the paid for version, we don't get the ads, but we get a long promo package, like we got an Austin Theory one. And it just makes the show much longer than it needs to be, and the pacing gets fucked up. And I just think if you're watching the free version, kind of like this stream, you're gonna sometimes get ads, and that's not great, obviously. But there's the incentive to pay for it, and yeah, it just I don't know. But those promo those long adverts and the music performance after the Women's Rumble, I was really ready for the show to wrap up. I woke up during the main event and was really into it. But yeah, not the time for Hardy, and you could just hear the crowd sort of grumble when they're setting up the band set up in the ring. The overall Rumble event was a 5 out of 10. Not my favorite Rumble. That's quite high though. Actually, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Well, we'll get there in a minute. So we're kind of on the same wavelength there. Topsy says Hardy got more heat on Twitter than you two after forcing their music onto iPhones. I don't think we quite got up there, but I've got to say, since Musk buying Twitter, he keeps popping up he's forced himself into my notification feed. I've blocked him now, but I didn't follow him. He's on the notification feed, and I'm like, this is you two putting your album on my iPod vibes, and I'm not here for it. But it's time for the main event now, Mick. And I think it's kind of unanimous that the Bloodline story is not only the best thing that WWE are doing at the moment, it's one of the most compelling storylines in wrestling for a long, long time.
Very long time indeed.
And it's just had that perfect build of the fact that it's been happening for a long time. At first, Sammy was just kind of paired with them because they didn't know what to do with him. And at the time, after Sammy had been just hanging around with Nakamura for a while, I'm like, oh, now they're just putting with the blood. They don't know what to do with him, and Sammy's so great. But it grew and it grew and it grew. And there's been genuine comedy moments of them breaking character and corpsing in the ring. And all of that, I think, has just helped to make it feel more real and more heartbreaking when the events of tonight transpired. And the comedy of Sammy being not a member of the family, but being part of the gang has just been amazing. Like I said, I think them all of a sudden putting Sammy on trial seemed to happen quite quickly. After a nice slow build, all of a sudden there was a sudden left turn to put him in that trial. I mean, what do you think about... Have you been catching the Bloodline bits even though you're not watching the shows?
Yeah, I have been watching as much bit as I can the Bloodline stuff because, like you say, it is the most compelling stuff they've done for a while, and Sammy is fucking great, like, as well. Yeah, I've really liked the storyline, the way I followed it. I think the pace slightly changed when they added Solo in. Just, I think it seemed to accelerate slightly from there to where they got to the trial quite quickly.
Yeah, and then you've got the whole stuff of Sammy taking a while to win over Jey Uso, Jay was
That was really good as well. So well done.
distrusting him for a while, and then eventually he won over Jay. And then in the trial, Jay's the one who steps up and defends Sammy and says, "Look, Sammy, he took this chair shot. He prevented this loss, this thing." Because, like I said, it felt quick all of a sudden because. Yeah. Paul Heyman's in the ring saying ECW is dead, and that's exactly what I wish for you, Sami Zayn. I'm like, whoa, okay, chill out, a little bit extreme, no pun intended. But oh right, Sonya and Charlotte's match got moved to SmackDown. Thank the Lord. Yeah, I mean, if that match was on that card as well, I probably would have been a lot more grumpier for this finish. But Just a great long-term story. Like I said, there's been so many clips of Sammy making Jay crack up for real that I've watched repeatedly. Like when he walks into the backstage and him and Jimmy do that kind of high five thing they do. Amazing. Sammy's so likable, and this story has been so organic, and I would love to see it culminating with a Mania match. Dude, okay, we'll get to the ending. But immediately, Sammy Uso chants. Owens gets the early heat on Reigns. Kevin looking in great shape, might I add. Fresh, ready to take that title, even though it was very obvious, I think, to all of us that he wasn't going to. Roman cuts off KO, shoots him into the corner with a rough-looking flare bump. Reigns bottom to Kevin. He's not calling it that, but he should. Or Rome bottom? I don't know. Sammy applauds Roman on the outside during a drive-by. Not a drive-by just happening near them, but that move in the ring. But Roman's, oh man, Roman wasn't connecting for me for all those years he was being forced down our throats.
Same, yeah.
But now, man, he's in the ring and he's wrestling Kevin Owens, but he's got this look on his face that's telling us that he's got Sammy on his mind. He's permanently distracted about this Sammy nonsense, and I just think it's really great. You don't see a lot of subtlety in wrestling, but it really, really paid off. I thought it was great. Great facials over in here. And if I could do that sex noise that V1 on OSW does, I would do it. Forearm exchange. They're knocking the shit out of each other. KO knocks Roman down with a stiff clothesline. Crowd is exhausted, but they're perking up for this match as KO hits a frog splash off the apron to the outside and then another one on the inside. Great stuff. 2 count. Super kick from Kevin, blocked by Roman, followed by a huge powerbomb. Reigns hits a Superman punch. Kevin's kicking out at 2. Sammy's given more perfect reactions on the outside because they could be misconstrued if they do another trial, and just like the moments where Sammy's maybe hesitating to cheer or give Roman the chair later on, I just think it's being played perfectly. And Roman sets up for the spear but misses. And Kevin hits an amazing swanton bomb for the near fall. KO goes for the springboard double jump moonsault, which I love, but he slips, unfortunately. And I've thought 1,000 times that move looks so awkward to do that I would slip a lot more. But yeah, he slips, unfortunately, but gets up for a second attempt at the moonsault. Misses, takes the spear. Kevin kicks out. What did you think of the match itself rather than the angle at the end, Mick?
It's a good match. Very, very solid match. The stair spots were pretty naughty that Owens took as well. They that stuck out to me. The spots on the stairs, man.
Dude, me too. When you see that kind of stuff, basically Kevin's being shoved headfirst back into the actual rim of the step, the corner of the step.
Yeah, man.
And when you see anything head related with with what we know now and the fact that we're not 14-year-old wrestling fans anymore, with just wanting to see spots and just thinking that all wrestlers are invincible at all times. Yeah. That was uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, here we go. Raging Silver, the head smashed twice on the stairs, made me wince. The Bloodline story has been very well paced compared to the Bray Wyatt spooky shit. Exactly, Topsy. Exactly. But yeah, ref bump out of the stunner rehearsal, and KO hits the powerbomb, pop-up powerbomb, and gets the visual win. So there's a little bit of heat there for Kevin Owens' character. He's not getting completely jobbed out. Not that you could lose to Roman and call it being jobbed out. Low blow from Roman. Sammy looks torn on the outside. This is what I'm talking about. Sammy's playing his role absolutely perfectly. Roman tells him to get the chair, And then Sammy's like, "Well, you told me not to do anything." So he's like, he's cleverly trying to get out of seeing his old friend Kevin take any more punishment than necessary. And Roman's screaming at him, "Oh, I'm telling you to get the chair now." Sammy reins the chair after the hesitation, but then stunner from KO, and I bit for that near fall. And I'm like, wrestling magic, because we all know he's not winning, but sometimes those near falls are so well done that you go, oh.
Like, you never know though. Like I didn't think Owens would win, but if Owens had the one and then Roman sends Sammy after him for the belt and then tries to make him hand it over to him, that could have worked as well.
That's another great route they could have taken on the story for sure. Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when the match is really starting to pick up, and yeah, a tired crowd. They're being shaken out of apathy right here. Superman punch out of a pop-up powerbomb attempt. Owens kicks out, and Owens, Kevin's kicking out of all of his finishes, even the actual finish, the spear. So it's good stuff. The crowd are into it. Sammy willing Kevin to stay down on the outside, but it's a spear from Roman to Kev through the barricade. So you got to use 2 specials on that, I think, to get that OMG moment. So he's meaning business here, is Roman. Nasty, and there's the nasty bump on the steps, and I'm just tough to watch. And you just like what we know now, any kind of potential head trauma is really tough. They reminded people that Roman is a nasty piece of work in both the match and the aftermath. Math says Topsy. That is correct. The laughs and the giggles are great, but man, he pulled a 360. Yeah, this storyline has had everything, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch. And let's hope Vince doesn't come in and fuck it up at the last minute, because that could happen. Everybody, Kevin fights back.
WrestleMania season, it's. He'll just want to get his hands all over it, won't he?
Oh, it's like, what a surprise to see you back, Vince, in time for WrestleMania. Well, we didn't see that one coming. I didn't like the beatdown at the end, says Raging Silver. It lasted way too long, and got uncomfortable. But therein lies the point. It needs to be uncomfortable, because we want to hate. They want us to hate the Bloodline, and we should hate the Bloodline. And almost up to that aftermath. I can't wait to talk about it. But Kevin fights back with a slap, showing no fear and no quit, but one final spear ends it with a 3. Sammy clearly already looks shook from the level of violence from Roman with those steps, though acknowledges Roman with the 1 in the air, despite this just fantastic story telling. And Jay goes to put Sammy's tribal. What's the tribal dressing? The flowers. What is the name of that?
A lei in Hawaiian culture, isn't it? But I'm not sure about Samoan culture.
Yeah, not sure the name. Wreath, but it's not a wreath, is it? Dressing. But Roman tells them to make him watch a Kevin Owens beatdown first. For some reason, Jimmy is shouting "skew" every time he punches. I don't know, maybe he's just wondering whether he was just so infuriated that he'd picked the physical skew of Rare Replay, because only the people who bought the digital skew of Rare Replay get GoldenEye retroactively added for it. That's probably what he was talking about. Yes, Batman, or that. But yeah, so they're beating down Kevin. Crowd's chanting for Sammy, willing him to do something. There's a hip attack from Solo in the corner with Kevin having the Pillmanized neck with the chair. And then Roman, like Rich said, like Raging Silver said, apologies, the beating is getting uncomfortable, and it's not easy to watch, but that's what we needed. That's where the storyline needed to be taken. And then Roman brings out double cuffs, and the Usos chain both Kevin wrists to the top rope, and then he just receives an endless, brutal super kick party, and they looked nasty. They're kicking him right in his face. Kicking his face all the way back to Quebec. And Roman's just smirking. He's just smirking. And it's a look where you think, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that a proper shitty grin, yeah.
Yeah, man. And you're just thinking, someone needs to do, we need someone to do something about this now. And that person is Sammy. And there's Sammy chants from the Texas crowd. Roman talks down to Kevin about Sammy being his family now. Sammy stops Roman from swinging the chair. And everyone's like, ooh, takes the chair, stops him, and he's begging Roman to stop. He says, "This is beneath you, Roman." So using that superior intellect to try and trick the tribal chief, into sparing his friend, but making it seem like, you don't need to bother with this. So Roman hands the chair to Sammy and says, "Well, you do it." And then Sammy takes the chair and Roman's screaming at him to do it. And Sami wants to do nothing less. He wants to do... Yeah, he doesn't want to. And for a second, like... And then Sami gives a brief look over to Roman while he's holding the chair behind him, and the crowd are like, oh... And then Roman gets in Sami's face for hesitating, slaps him about, and then Sami, for a second, squares up to him and then kind of backs away. And every step of it is perfect. I'm on the edge of my seat, like I said. And then finally, Sami strikes Roman in the back with that chair. And the pop from that crowd, loudest thing of the night by far. It was like an Attitude Era pop. I couldn't believe it, and I felt the goosebumps, and I was like, and you're like, yes, you're so with him. And Roman kind of slumps down in exactly the same way that he did when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield and smacked him in the back with the chair there. And then the drama just unfolds. Sami apologizes to the Usos, but Jimmy beats the shit out of him. Solo gives him the spike. Roman's back up, commands more beating, but Jey Uso remains in the corner of the ring with his arms crossed because he took the longest to accept Sami, but now he's the only one backing up Sami, and it's amazing. And the crowd explode into Jey chants, and he doesn't join in the beating, and he defiantly turns his back on the bloodline, walks away, and it's the biggest of applause I've ever heard for someone walking away. But it was great, just walking off, not looking back, and his face twisted in 1,000 conflicting emotions, and you're just thinking, we're getting this kind of storytelling from wrestling. Look what you can do with it.
That's it. It's like I've always said, like, when wrestling's bad, it's horrendous. But when it's good,
but
like
funny,
this, it is like one of the best arts of storytelling around. Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think it was Matthew who said, when wrestling's bad, it's amusingly bad. But when it is amazing, there's absolutely nothing like it.
Not a lot like it. Yeah, it's very true.
I just put, wow, this angle, man, goosebumps. Roman finishes Sami, tearing the honorary Uso shirt off of him. And then the whole arena is chanting, fuck you, Roman. Crystal clear. We've heard, and you don't often get that in WWE shows, certainly. And it's usually not the whole crowd, but, you know, there's been love for Roman during this Bloodline story because he's been awesome. But this was so effective in making the crowd hate him. I've never heard such a strong fuck you chant in wrestling ever, especially not outside of ECW. And Roman tears up, like I said, the floral dressing, drapes it over Sami's lifeless body to thunderous boos. Just absolutely incredible as we go off the air. And that was the Rumble, and I was just on such a high after the ending, even though it was so late at night. And because of that angle, I've given the show a 3 out of 5, because that angle was so good, and the other highlights were excellent as well, that even though there were some serious lulls in that whole show, you've got to call it a win, if only for that angle at the end, which was just a masterpiece of storytelling, full stop, let alone in wrestling, dude.
Yeah, I think so too. I think like that is going to go down as one of the most classic moments in modern day wrestling. Absolutely, yeah. Like you say, the storyline's been done so well. And WWE showed like they can still be a bit of a power if they do more stuff like this.
Yeah, like we said, please just keep Vince away from creative at the very least, because you don't want anything coming in and ruining it at this point. Because credit to Triple H and the rest of the booking team that they've gone with this, and even though it wasn't the plan, they've gone with it, and they've listened to the reactions, and they're looking at the quarter viewing figures. And it's just been must-watch television, and just a great ending to the show last night. It really is. But the question is, we now don't know where we're going for Mania, because with all of that, wouldn't it seem a bit of a waste for Roman then to suddenly turn his focus to Cody? There wouldn't be a lot of heat there. I mean, what do you want to happen, Mick?
Cody to go away. Just to fuck off, Cody.
So as long as Cody's just not there, you'll be happy.
Yeah, go and fucking walk your dog around the park, Cody, or something, lads.
Yeah, don't bring him out to any more live wrestling shows with pyros, for God's sake.
Yeah, the shit out of him with the fireworks.
My God.
Poor Alfredo.
But yeah, Raging Silver says, wonder what Sammy and Kevin will do next. What everyone is thinking, Silver, is that it's going to be Sammy and Kevin taking the tag titles off the Usos. But we don't.
I've heard a lot of people saying, but I don't think that works because of the J thing.
Yeah,
but
I was just
maybe
about to say that.
It's
Yeah, so we just don't know at the moment. But I like another comment by Raging Silver. Sammy can probably do the whole I know their weaknesses for whoever's then taking on Roman. But yeah, that's what the crowd was saying. A loud "fuck you, Roman." It was great. It was great because everyone's invested, and how could you not be after that? But
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's the show, everybody. That was the Rumble, and that was this edition of Hook the Leg. So thank you, Mick. Dude, we got to do more of these. I hope you had fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Of course, yeah, always.
What do you reckon? Mania? Or before Mania? We'll talk about it, but
maybe Chamber.
Maybe. And there's what is it? Revolution? Are you keeping up with AEW at the moment?
I fell off it a little bit. I'm trying to think when I did fall off it a little bit. I kind of, it was kind of when the Punk stuff happened, I think. I kind of was like, oh, fuck, here we go again. Yeah, I fell off a little bit then. I've been watching the MJF stuff, obviously, and the Acclaimed. I fucking love the Acclaimed, man. They're just the best thing.
Yeah, Acclaimed.
I think AEW have got.
MJF are always must-watch segments, even if I don't catch the whole thing. And I've got to say, though, I usually catch all the Dynamite, but this week I didn't catch all of it, but I watched... the Jay Briscoe tribute, which I thought was really sweet, and
yeah, I watched that. Jay Lethal, man, the guy was in tears pretty much for the whole match against Briscoe, man. Against Mark Briscoe, it was so sad. Yeah,
the tribute video and then the match later on, like you say, and Lethal's just in tears, and after Warner Brothers not allowing either Briscoe on the show, it was great to see Mark on the show, and it was it was emotional because tragedy. A tragedy, and it's good to hear that his kids are doing better and his family are staying strong. You know, when a wrestler's taken away in their prime, still, it's really sad. So Tony Khan, if there's one thing he does, maybe better than anyone else, it's a tribute show. Same with the Brody Lee one, you know.
Yeah, very much so, and he fought for getting him on TV and going forward, keeping him on TV as well. It looks like so.
Yeah, so absolutely good for him, and thank you, Tony, and thank you everybody for hanging out on chatting the Rumble with us tonight. It's been really good. As for my streams, tomorrow is, I'm sorry for all the Metal Gear Solid fans, but it's Music Monday tomorrow because there's a game that I've got to try, Hi-Fi Rush, I believe it's called, and Nine Inch Nails are involved.
Also want to play that.
Yeah, I heard a bit about it on a podcast. I thought, ooh. So I've not looked at I've not even seen a video of it, but it's ready to go. It will be Music Monday for me tomorrow, but I'll be posting my streaming schedule. Mick, when are you streaming next?
I'm kind of like writing at a minute, maybe a little tonight. If not, probably tomorrow evening. But just like, yeah, check my page out. I'll post it on my Discord and on Twitter and stuff when I'm streaming. I'm just waiting for the internet to get put in so I can put a bit more regular schedule up. But I'm doing bits and pieces at the minute, and I've just downloaded a few new things to play. So yeah, we're going to be getting some Far Cry 5 co-op, I think, as well.
Oh yeah.
Days Gone. I'm going to do a Days Gone playthrough, and I'd be doing a bit of FIFA as well if it wasn't so awfully ported to PC. So Vampire Survivors, I'm big on at the minute as well.
That game's awesome, big. Isn't it?
So good. Yeah.
I've recently finished the main story to Ragnarok. And that game was phenomenal, and I can't wait to go back in. I don't want
to hear anything because I'm not. No spoilers. No Ragnarok till I get a PS5.
Zero spoilers, but wow, what a game you have waiting for you there, man! I've got to say.
I love the God of War on PS4. Is my favorite PS4 game.
You're obviously gonna love Ragnarok then, and yeah, man. I hope you get to play it soon. But yeah, Mick, I hope we get to do another one of these soon. That's been great.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, definitely. It's been fun, man.
So cheers. Once again, Mick. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, don't forget to hook the leg.
Take care, folks.
Oh, sorry, man. I was. Oop.